David Baker's death received no national attention and little local attention here in Colorado. Why?
211, bring more units.
Well, he was violent on the front end, but as we would find out, this problem has little to do with the front end and much more to do with the moments that follow.
Is he cuffed?
Yeah. He is cuffed.
Handcuffing. Here's why. A 1995 U.S. Department of Justice bulletin that warned officers a person lying on his stomach has trouble breathing when pressure is applied to his back. So, as soon as the suspect is handcuffed, get him off his stomach.
We're going to pulse, but I'm not feeling any breathing on there.
During an autopsy, the medical examiner in the Baker case concluded Baker died due to asphyxia, which just so happens to be the title of that DOJ bulletin. So here's what you should know. We've found at least 121 deaths that followed prone restraint since 2010. Those deaths have led to at least $126 million in settlements and verdicts. Most of those who died were mentally ill. A fifth outright said, "I can't breathe." So if you're wondering about a death in your area, start with that initial press release. Typically, there's going to be one. It won't mention prone restraint or asphyxia, but it might use the words unconscious, not breathing, and handcuffs. Look for any indication officers held the person face down.
Is he still kicking down there and whatnot?
Not really.
Next, ask for two things right away. One, body camera recordings, if there are any. Two, ask for a copy of their written policy on prone restraint. Be specific. Use that term prone restraint. They're going to know what you're talking about. Here's why you should ask for it. Either they're going to have a policy, which you can check to see if they followed, or they don't have a policy. That's a story too. After that, see if you can tell how long the person was held prone and handcuffed. That alone is a big deal. Law professor and former cop Seth Stoughton told us anything more than a few seconds is too long. 3 minutes too long.
3 minutes is absolutely too long.
When families sue, they typically do so in federal court. Look for lawsuits there first. And finally, feel free to reach out. My email is chris@9news.com. That's chris@9news.com. We've spent 18 months looking into this problem. Along the way, we've learned a lot about the problem that stretches well beyond just the state of Colorado in the case of David Baker. With deaths scattered all over the country, we needed to talk to people all over the country. But in the midst of a pandemic, traveling was out of the question. So we did what journalists do. We improvised. This is how we did it. Take Seth Stoughton, an expert in police restraint techniques.
The state calls Seth Stoughton.
He testified during the trial of the officer now convicted of murdering George Floyd.
It's just not appropriate to prone someone who is, at that point, cooperative.
Stoughton lives in South Carolina. There he is in his office. Seth, just give me your full name.
My name is Seth Stoughton.
We could have done this over Zoom. You've seen plenty of those interviews by now. But we wanted to do something different. So a few days before we did this, we mailed him this kit. Inside, 2 small cameras and an audio recorder. A mini studio in a box.
Okay, it is moving.
Before the interview, photojournalist Chris Hansen over Zoom helped Stoughton set up the cameras and recorder.
Okay.
Thanks to that, we got clean audio, clean video, and a new way to capture the back and forth reporters like me find so vital during stories like this. How long is too long?
But as soon as you get past that couple of seconds, it's too long.
10 times we mailed this kit, all so we could interview some of the country's top experts in the field of policing and medicine. We also relied on sister stations of ours to do additional interviews with families of those who died. Parts of our investigation aired in Sacramento, Dallas, Phoenix, New Orleans, Columbus, and Minneapolis. It all turned a local news investigation into a national report with national implications. A case of journalistic improvisation born out of a pandemic.